Hello and welcome to our lesson on high blocks and low blocks. Now we've covered the Wyoki block, the middle block, in another video, and so we already have that covered in another lesson. But you'll remember that the middle block is done in a circular fashion. These blocks are done more in a striking fashion, and so instead of the redirection of the Wyoki block, we're going to do more of a striking technique. Now the high block, the Hijiki Uki block, is designed to really block from about the solar plexus up to the top of the head. Really, you can go a little bit higher than that and really just say it's really for a head block. It can be a punch to the head. It can be an overhead strike. It can be a lot of different ways to do this particular block to defend against a particular attack. And so the Hijiki Uki, the high block, it's going to be done out of a ready stance, and so we're going to come from a ready stance, and what we're going to do is we're going to do the harakan. Now the harakan, if you'll remember, is fold the thumb over in the middle and fold the fingers around that. That is the primary way we do it in Uechi-ryu, as we do this through the harakan. And so we'll be in a ready position. We'll bring the hand over to the other hand with the palm facing ourselves, and then we're going to go to a high block, and as the high block comes out, it's going to go to the palm facing the direction of the attack. And so again, making sure that you're doing it with the harakan. Now it can be done with a closed fist, and you'll see other styles that do it with a closed fist, but there's a particular reason that you'll learn in some future lessons, that the reason that we do it with the harakan is because it sets you up for the counter attack, which is the way that you're actually going to stop your attacker, not just blocking. And so we're going to start again, Hijiki Uki, high block. It's going to start in a ready position. You're going to make your harakan as it comes over, and it comes over. Notice that my elbows are staying in, and as I block, my palm comes from palm facing me to palm facing out. Now I want you to see that there's a distance between myself and the block that's coming out. If you're blocking here, obviously you're not going to have the angle of block, and you're not going to be able to get the block in sufficiently enough. You want that block to come out, and you want it to be away from your body so that it's in the front, and so that you're coming out to meet the attack. All right, coming up, boom. Now it's not all the way out. It's not a straight arm. You're not blocking with a straight arm. Your arm is still bent. So if you come from here in the ready position, from the Uechi-ryu ready position, and you come up, your elbow is going to be pretty much the same. All right, the same distance away from your body. It just comes up. All right, so your elbow and everything, your arm positioning is going to be very similar, all right, to where you are in your Sanchin stance. So you're going to come up. Notice that I'm blocking about the middle of my head, and my arm is slightly bent. Now you want to make sure that your arm is slightly bent, because that is going to give you the power in your technique. It's going to allow any overhead strike to come down and slide off of that block. So you're coming down and you're going to slide off of the block. So from here, there's a slight bend in my arm. So if I were to do both blocks at the same time, the blocks are coming up, and it's making like a roof, if you will, a V at the top. And that's what you want your blocks to perform. So if you do 1, 2, but if you do them both at the same time, they're going to come up and they're forming a rooftop V, all right, around your body. And that's going to give you a distance around your body, so it's going to protect just your body. You're not coming all the way up here. There's no reason to block this high. There's no reason, and you don't want to block too low, because obviously that's not going to give you the angle of defense. You want to block just to the height of your head, and you want this block to be down, elbow in, tight, shoulder down, and everything. Again, basically coming up from this position. You're in your Sanchin stance and coming up. Hijiki Uki. Again, that can be a block for a high punch. It can be a block for an attack coming over the top. Any kind of an attack like that, your Hijiki Uki, your high block, is going to be the one that is going to be most successful. and defending that. Doesn't mean that you can't use a Waioki block to block a punch coming to your face area. You could use that, obviously, but that's going to be the top of your Waioki block. You're going to be much more efficient to take that block and block it up and then counter strike when you're ready to do that. So Hijiki Uki, or high block. Now, the way we practice this in classes is you'll just do your blocks, okay? So you can just take time, do 10 on each side. Come back to your ready position each time, or just work on getting that snap in there. Now, it says it's an attacking block. So in the Waioki block, it's a redirection, okay? I'm redirecting. I'm using a circular motion out of the Kung Fu Pongai Noon roots of our system. You're blocking in a circular motion. Here I'm actually attacking. So if somebody's coming down, I'm almost striking into their attack. So when they're coming down or they're punching, I'm striking that attack, because when they come in with that punch, the vulnerable part of their arm is going to be underneath. So as I block up, I'm snapping into that block because I want it to be a block and a strike at the same time. Making sure that you're tightening your hand. Like I said, with the haraken, in the Weichiru system, we use the haraken. And so this is going to tighten your forearm. It's going to tighten the underneath of your arm, the top part of your arm, the outside, everything is going to tighten all of that in as you pull that in. Now you can do the same thing with a regular Seiken punch. You can block the same way, obviously. And if you're not comfortable with the haraken in a real situation of self-defense, I would say the high block with a fist is better if you're not going to be able to make that haraken hard. By doing that, you're going to protect yourself. When somebody's punching in, you're going to take the hard part of your arm and you're going to strike out with this part right here, this bone on this side, and you're striking out into their attack. So doing that. The other thing you want to think about with the high block, the Hijiki Uki, is that you're blocking off the front foot. All right. So if you're in a left stance or ready stance here, and the attack comes in, boom, you can just come straight up with that front foot. Your front foot hand is going to be slightly more forward, and it's going to be the one that's going to give you the quickest blocking technique. Hijiki Uki, high block. We also want to cover the Gidan Uki, which is the low block in this video as well. Now the Gidan Uki is a little bit different. It is done with a closed fist, and the reason that it's done with a closed fist is because anytime you take your hand and you block or move it in a down position, especially toward your belt or below your belt, you want to make sure that you close your hand. The reason that you want to close your hand is because if you don't close your hand and you're blocking a low block, which is a lot of times used to block kicks, when you block and you leave your hand open, if that kick arrives at your hand before your block is completed, then it's going to break your fingers. If you squeeze your hand tight into a Seiken and you block down, if they happen to hit your hand, they're basically going to be punched in the leg by your block. So that's the reason that you want to do the closed hand on those low blocks. All right. So the only open hand block we do for this particular series is the Waioki, which is a circle block. This one is closed because you're doing haraken, and this one is closed because you're doing the Seiken block. Now, just like we covered with the Hijiki Uki, the high block, the Gidan Uki, or the low block, is going to be done off the front foot. It's going to be done from a ready position. You're going to curl palm into a fist, and then you're going to bring it down into a position here, blocking low. All right. So if I was to do the Waioki block, it would look like this. If I do the down block, it's the same circle, only it is going lower. It's reversing that circle. And so if I'm here again, I want to make sure that if I'm blocking here, no way, it's not going to work. You're going to be your block is not going to intercept the attack in time to block it from your body. All right. You want to make sure that you're coming straight out of Sanchin, again, here, and you're just rotating down. That's going to give you the distance that you need from your body so that you intercept the attack quick enough to be able to defend yourself, but also you're going to be able to get it out there. It still has a rotation to it. If you're too far out, you're either leaning or your arm is too straight, something's going on, all right? So again, it's from Sanchin, you're closing your hand, palm in, and it stays in all the way down, all right? And rotates down. Now the other thing that you want to try to do is you want to try to block with your shoulder, using your shoulder muscle. What's going to happen is you're going to want to rotate at the elbow more, all right, trying to do this kind of a block. But what you're doing is you're rotating down with this shoulder, all right, here, making sure that you're blocking down using the shoulder and the lat muscle here. That's going to give you the power that you need to block that block down. All right? If you're not using the power of your shoulder and your lat muscles to be able to pull that block, it's not going to be able to defend against a strong front snap kick or a roundhouse kick or even a low hard punch. All right? You need that technique. You need that power coming from your shoulder and your lats. So you want to feel that part of your body pushing your block down. All right? So you're coming out, you're leaving your arm slightly bent, it's coming down, blocking, and then you come into your straight arm here. The other thing you want to try to make sure that you're doing is make sure that you keep your blocks in front of your body. Again, like I said, with the high block, there's no reason to block all the way up here. There's no reason to block all the way out here. Your blocks are to the edge of your body. This is the only area that you need to block with a high block. Same thing with a low block. I don't need to block all the way over here. If somebody's punching or kicking over here, it doesn't bother me. I don't care. It's not going to hit me, all right? I want to make sure that I keep my hands close to my body so that then I can return back into a quick defensive or an offensive, rather, from a defensive stance to an offensive movement. And so here, if I get too far out, if I need to come back with my block, it's going to be out of position, all right? I want to come here and only to the edge of my body. I'm stopping these blocks to the edge of my body. Nothing further, nothing, not stopping too close. I'm not having my hand too far out, all right? If you want to, or if you're able to train in front of a mirror, or you're able to train in front of a window with some type of reflection, you can watch your hand and make sure that you're blocking the edge of your body, that your hand is about belt height, and so that's your low block. So in Uechi-Ryu, Okinawan karate, you're blocking your upper body with your hands, typically, all right? When you get into some higher level belts and your higher level training, you'll learn to block with your knee. Anything coming in lower than what's blockable with your hand, you're going to block with your knees, all right? Your knees, your legs, you're going to do a different type of a block. You may even drop down into a lower block, a kibidachi, so that you can lower your stance and get that block. But typically, I'll say, when you are doing blocks in the Okinawa Uechi-Ryu system, you're blocking with your hands from your belt to the top of your head. Anything lower than that, you're not going to worry about as much. There's not vital areas. We do conditioning for our legs. You can block the groin by just bringing the front leg up and across. So you have the ability to block pretty much anything below that's needed. Anything that's going to hit me in my legs, I'm not going to be as concerned about, and as long as I block it enough to make sure it doesn't hit me in my knee or a vital area, a vital joint on my lower body. But typically, you're only going to block head to belt using your hands. So again, just to review real quick, Hajiki Uki. You're going to start with a palm facing you. You're going to make a haraken. You're going to come to the center of your body with that first part of your movement, and then you're going to raise up as one unit and come out and block. And your palm will then be facing out. Your have a V positioning of your arm above where you're blocking. All right, so from here, up, over, and up, over, and up. It's a striking block, so you're actually focusing at the end of that block so that you have some type of focus. All right, and that's your hijiki uki. Your down block, same kind of way. It's an attacking block. It's a strong block. You're making a seiken fist, and so you got a nice tight fist so that when you block down, you're attacking. I want to punish the person who's trying to attack me by kicking me or doing a low punch. I want to punish that leg or that arm as it comes in. So the next time that the person kicks, they're going to think twice about what that block felt like. Again, you're blocking with this outer part of your arm right here, which is a very hard part of your arm, especially if you're doing conditioning, your katakutes and building this up. You're conditioning this area right here so that when you strike out, strike down, it's gonna come in contact with that hard bone, that hard part of your arm right here, and you're gonna be able to get that hard block in there. And so that's your hijiki uki and your gidan uki. Your hijiki uki, high block, done with a haraken, and your low block, gidan uki, which is done with a seiken fist and down. Right? Remember again, a lot of this is done right out of your sanchin stance. So if you haven't practiced that, you'll make sure that you're practicing your sanchin stance, fingertips straight at your body here, not way up here, not way down here, up out here. Your elbow is a fist away from your body, and your elbow is pulled into your body, not out here, not too far in, just inside your body. High block, low block. All right, all done from the same position. And that covers our lesson for the day, hijiki uki and gidan uki. Until next time, it's always to your success. Have a great day and stay safe.